Okay guys, here's another video for you. This time it's a trip to Lundy Island, which is, I don't know, almost a third of the way across from the North Devon coast to Wales, the South Wales Peninsula. And here we're landing at Bellevue in North Devon, the idea being to take off again in formation with 3 other airplanes so that we can all go over together. We act as safety guards, one for each other then. These airplanes lined up on the right hand side are there for the Howard Cox Memorial flying. He was one of my flying chums that died flying a very fast BD-5 airplane a couple of years ago. Well, here we all are, having just left Bellevue airfield, and that your airplane on the right hand side is a 1946 Aeronca 11BC, and that's the first of the aircraft that the Aeronautical Corporation of America made at the end of the Second World War. Mine is made by the same company, that's the Aeronautical Corporation of America, but mine is dated 1940, was made in 1941 and actually started service with the US Army Air Force in 1942 and saw action. Beneath us there is Bideford and the Bideford Bay Inlet, and over the top right hand side of the picture, right in the very corner, you'll see the white beach there. The left hand side of that, which runs left to right, is where I carried out the Saunton Beach landings earlier on this year in May, and if you've been watching my previous movies you'd have seen a movie of it. Special thing to do, because although it's privately owned land, it sits underneath a protected zone, so that you can only land there once or twice a year. Laid out beneath the yellow airplane on the right is Bideford, and we're coming up to the North Devon coast. In a few seconds I should probably stop the video at that point and just clip to the arrival at Lundy, because for the next 15 minutes or so there's nothing much to see except the blue sea laid out below. Of course, with this type of airplane with a high wing and low wheels, if you do have to make a sea landing, it's never a very comfortable thing, because of course the wheels hit the water first and the airplane noses over very, very quickly indeed, and you're normally left with it floating, the wing just below the surface of the water and the cabin filling with water. So not the best thing to do. One of the reasons why we act as safety guards for each other. Although I have been over and back many, many times entirely on my own, and done much greater distances, from St David's Head to Ireland, Waterford and Ireland, which is some almost 68 miles over water. It takes a lot longer, and of course it's a lot more unnerving, because you can't see the coast on the other side until you're just about sort of a third of the way across, I guess. There we are, North Devon countryside laid out below. Hartland Point's away on our left, and we're just coming over the top of the coast now, and as I said, I'll probably just clip the video at that point and restart it just before we arrive at Lundy. Well, what do you know, there is Lundy. That of course is the eastern edge of the island, and as you can see it's not very narrow, about 1.5 miles long I suppose, and half mile wide. Pretty rugged stuff. Way in the distance there, the black line looks as though it's the coast of Wales, but in fact it's a lot further on than that. If you've ever been to Lundy, you'll know that it's a very special place, because it's quiet. The only motorised transport that's allowed there is used by the National Trust and by the English Heritage, who actually run the island. There are sheep, goats, cattle, horses, foxes, rabbits, all sorts. And the foxes and rabbits are the things that we have to be very, very careful of, as well as the sheep, because the runway is often littered with holes that they dig, and if your wheel drops into it, it can cause an awful lot of problems. Just inside the propeller there, above the nose of the airplane, you can see the lighthouse coming up. That's what's called the old light. It's been abandoned because the island was so frequently bathed in fog that it was absolutely useless. The only thing that ships could hear was the sound of the foghorn, and often in the middle of a strangely bleak place like that, the horn didn't actually give any direction as to which way the lighthouse was. That's why there are so many wrecks. And if you go to Lundy, there's a wonderful little tavern there called the Morisco Tavern, which is where we'll end up tonight. And whilst it's got a wonderful restaurant, all the way around it are life belts and artefacts from ships that have been wrecked there over the years, from sailing ships to Royal Naval warships. Anyway, they replaced that old light with two new ones, one at the east side and one at the west side. And now, as you can see below, all you could have seen then is just the plain sea, nothing else to see. But we're coming back to the island a second time, having circumnavigated it, this time to make a landing. So as we get closer to the ground, you'll get a better idea of just how rough this terrain is. Rock with a little bit of moss and grass on the surface, very, very little soil. Thousands of stones, thousands and thousands of loose stones. Okay, I'm actually side-slipping now, as you can see by the strange angle of the airplane to the horizon, and the idea of that is to lose height quickly. And as you can see, I'm losing height quickly. Coming up to the 200-foot high coastal cliffs there right now, and I'm just about to swing, there we go, swing the airplane to the left to line up with the runway. And there's the lighthouse again in the propeller arc on the nose, and along that distance there, along that line, is the place we're going to land. There are some rocks sticking up just past the hedge that we're about to cross over. It's a stone hedge, by the way. On the left hand side there, as you can see, coming up, and you've got to miss those, because if you don't, they'll take your undercarriage off. Pretty rough and bumpy landing, this one. There we are, we're down. Okay, just about to roll the airplane around to face the opposite direction of the runway. And I know there's an airplane close behind me, so I've got to keep an eye on him. What I'm trying to do is to get back and turn off before he actually lands. But it didn't work. And as you'll see, and there he is, coming over the horizon now. He's just landed in the same direction that I'm backtracking. So he moves off to the left, I stop. He'll then turn off, and I'll follow him. There you go, we're moving again. There's another airplane behind him, but he's some distance behind, so I've got nothing to worry about there. Okay, and this is the so-called aircraft park. There's about 23 airplanes here. It doesn't look like it, but there are. And over the 2 days we had 83 visitors. 83. And I was going to video it for you, but I was unable to in the end, because I was kept marshalling all day, from the very first thing in the morning till the very last thing at night. You know, literally about 5 or 6 o'clock we actually took off to come home, burned deep red and very tired. In a few seconds you'll see the lighthouse itself. I've got one shot for you so you can see what a beautiful building it actually is. And a shot of a few of the airplanes also from the lighthouse. A couple of goofers on the runway, and there is the lighthouse. All stone structure. Whether it was made for stone, mined on the island or not, I don't know. But anyway, that's the end of the video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll try to produce something different for you next time. Ciao!